And welcome to the Coach's Corner post-game show. Tonight, Bobcats get revenge over Orlando. A week ago, the Bobcats in a great position with Washington coming up on Monday. Go to Orlando, blew a 16-point lead, and really was a downer because they've been playing good, but they fought back tonight, did not play well ending the game, but came away with a 91-80 victory.
Yeah, not only did they battle back and get a good win against Orlando here after they let one slip away down there, but they also, after that game, Coach, now they've won 3 in a row. They've won 3 in a row this week. Started off with a good comeback win, which you saw here at Time Warner Cable Arena against Washington. They went to play in Philadelphia and handled business where it could have been kind of a trap game against one of the worst teams in the NBA. They blow them out by 30, and they come home and take care of business. So a very good week so far for the Bobcats, and they have a chance to cap it off and go 4-0 tomorrow night in Cleveland. And like you said, it was a good answer to come back after you let one slip away to get this one, and you're back at 500, 38-38.
Again, this team Monday night against Washington was just flat and dead. I mean, I told you all the way out in Las Vegas this game's over because there was no emotion being played on the floor. There was no excitement in the stands, and something automatically happened, and they finished on a 19-4 run, really a 19-2 run, but Washington got good and got a layup with like 7 seconds to go. They let him have it, though, and, you know, they've come back the last 2 games. Josh McRoberts, I think, missed his first games of the year and all, and it may be a thing right there. It's kind of good to where you're playing 2 teams, you can actually rest him. Stick Cody in there, let him start and play. Coach Toney, you got your first chance to see the big man, Big Al, play tonight.
Hey, you're certainly right there, Coach. I certainly enjoyed watching him play. He's such a smooth player. You know, he got an excellent inside game. You know, he doesn't have a bad outside shot. But I tell you what, he was a house with 29 points and 16 rebounds. So, hey, he's awfully strong inside to go along with that outside shooting too. I think Bobcats can make a run.
And Dustin, he could have had more rebounds than that, but the little fella begged him to get a couple more rebounds so he could get a triple-double.
He did. Kimba finished with a triple-double tonight, right on the money, 13 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. I asked Al after the game, I said, was Kimba trying to lobby for some rebounds? And he said, yeah, Kimba asked to get those last couple. And he said, when I went up for a rebound, I could hear Kimba screaming behind my back that I'm going to grab this rebound. And Kimba was able to get that late rebound to finish with that triple-double to go along with, like Coach Toney said, Al's 29 and 16. So another solid performance by this team, Coach. And you talked about it, the theme all year has been when somebody goes down, somebody steps up. And I think if McRoberts would have got hurt earlier in the year, I think you can agree with this, it might have been a bigger injury because Cody just wasn't there yet. But now that Cody's getting the game, you know, we don't, as much as we do miss McRoberts, at least we know that Cody can get in there and fill in for that spot, and he's played well the last 2 games with McRoberts out.
And we did walk out next to McRoberts when we were coming out to shoot the video. No, Jesus was not walking on water. He was walking very well on the arena floor as he was leaving there, though. But I think if they had needed him, he'd been ready to go. But great opportunity. He's had a great year to actually rest him and get him well.
Yeah, and it sounds like from what I've heard that he's not going to play tomorrow night in Cleveland either. But it sounds like he'll be ready to practice on Monday and then be ready for that huge game in Washington next Wednesday, which, like you said, Coach, that's when we're going to need him the most, when they play Washington in there to try to battle for that 6th spot.
And it's worked out well, too, because you get a chance to start Cody, let him play with the starters. He's your top sub, but you're getting, you know, a chance to get some other people in the game, too, with the 3-point shooting and all like that, though. And some other people are getting minutes if they need a warm-up for the playoffs.
Well, one of the guys that's going to get his rhythm back is Anthony Tolliver. You know, we saw him, Coach, when he wasn't playing as much, they gave the minutes to Cody and CDR. His shot was struggling. Now he's got that rhythm back, and Coach Toney can talk about this as a coach. When you miss those few games, you kind of lose a rhythm. It may take a game or 2 to get that rhythm back, and now Tolliver's found his shot again, and he's knocking down wide open threes, and that's what this team needs.
Coach, I liked at that time when, you know, we walked in the locker room and heard one of the Bobcats talking about Cody being a starting, and there's a difference in starting and being a starter. but it, like you said there, it's great that other people are having the opportunity to step up, and you're building that depth factor up. So, and that's what you call part of the team effort. Together, everyone achieves more, and they're certainly playing team ball at this time.
You are watching the Coach's Corner post-game show here live from Time Warner Arena. Bobcats come home with a big win tonight, 91-80 over the Orlando Magic. And looking down here, you had Big Al with 29 points. You had 7 points for Henderson, 13 points for Kimba, 2 points for Luke, 12 points for CDR, 13 points for Anthony Tolliver, which was good. 5 on the line right here. Yeah, okay, I got my line mixed up. And Biombo had 2 points, though. So, again, you got a lot of guys. Al put up big numbers, but balanced with everybody else.
Well, I'm looking at the sheet right there. Everybody that played scored. So you did get some balance. You got some good stuff from your bench. Gary Neal comes out. He has a double-digit game. Like you said, Tolliver knocking down shots. And we talked about it all year, Coach. One of the best things about this team is that they're a team. They love playing with each other. They get closer every game, and they just keep building. And, I mean, we have to talk about it. This 500 benchmark, to be 500 this late in the season with 6 games left, that's an accomplishment for this Bobcats team. A team that had 21 wins, now they have a chance to finish over 500. They move one step closer to clinching a playoff spot. I think their magic number might even be 1 now with the Knicks loss.
Well, you got to remember Atlanta won, so they were tied with the Knicks, so that's not going to change that.
Okay, so their magic number most likely will be 2 then, but they're right there. So, I mean, they get a combination of a win tomorrow night and the Knicks and a Hawks loss. They're in the playoffs. They're right there, and it's just such an accomplishment for this team. It's been so much fun to watch, and I think this team's best basketball, it's hard to say this, but their best basketball is ahead of them. I think they're just now finally playing their best basketball of the year. They had a slow start because Al was out. You talked about your favorite stat of the night. They're 12-2 in their last 14 home games, and they've just got everything rolling right now, and it's really good to see.
Again, big win tonight. They go on the road tomorrow. Cleveland, team I think that got beat tonight by Atlanta right there, though. Be curious to see. Early in the year this team struggled in back-to-back games, never seemed to win the second of a back-to-back. Let's see, they've picked that up a little bit lately. If that trend continues and they can get the back-to-back and go 4-0 this week.
Yeah, and not only that, the Cavaliers are fighting for their playoff lives. They're 2 games behind that last spot, so you don't think they're going to be playing and laying it all on the line? Just because you got a good win at home don't mean it's going to go out there and proceed out on the court tomorrow night. You got to be ready to go because that team is fighting for a playoff spot. They feel like if they went out, they can get in. So they're going to come out playing hard.
Well, that's good. Also, that the Bobcats will be playing on the road because once it comes playoff time, you can't play all your games in the friendly confines at home. But it's good to go out and they can get that W tomorrow night.
Coach Toney, Coach Toney, your first comments, Coach Clifford, hearing him, what he had to say.
I tell you what, I like him because he come coach from the old school. He seems to be kind of laid back, and he's enjoying his coaching. And he'll admit that he's got some things he needs to change and work on. But I think he's real happy with the way the team's performing right now in regards to their chemistry and playing as a team. And right now he just said he's enjoying it, which is good from a coach because coaching creates stress and you have your highs and lows. But I think he's kind of reached the point where he feels confident in his team, and I think he feels like he can go a long ways.
The biggest thing I heard out of that, Coach, when he was talking about his experiences this year, his first year as the NBA head coach, and we talked about this earlier because when we talked to your guy, Dwight Howard, the other night, who used to play under assistant when Steve Clifford was an assistant, he said, hey, look, this is only the first year with Coach Clifford. They're going to get better, and I think the thing that Coach Clifford said as far as what he wants to do better is there are so many things that he wants to improve on, and then so many things that he also wants to introduce to his team. Like, I think he's got him playing a base NBA defense right now. I think he wants to make that more complex next year. So you give them an off season together, you give them another training camp together, you keep most of this core group together, which they will because it's a young team. Man, the sky's the limit for this team next year, Coach. I mean, they're 38-38 now, gonna make the playoffs. Who knows what next year could be? Maybe you talk about next year winning around in the playoffs, advancing even further. So it's not just making the playoffs this year, it's the future that they have with it. Because you can talk about this, Coach, the last time they made the playoffs, it was great, we were excited, but we knew that was kind of the ceiling for this team. They weren't going to go any higher. That's why they ended up blowing it up. Now this team has a bright future, not just to the playoffs this year, but moving on.
They are very quickly moving the floor out from under us, and I'm looking at this, watching us pack up. We better go now to final thoughts. Coach Toney.
Okay, I want to go with what I see tonight, Coach, in regards to the 7 W's. Winners will win while whining won't win, and that's what they're doing right now.
I get to listen to that all the way home.
The Bobcats playing with confidence, and they are playing like we said. They're playing as team ball, which is great.
See, now I have to follow up.
Can you top that?
I don't think I can top that. I don't have any letters to go with it. I'll just say this. I love how the Bobcats are playing, and I'm so happy that they finally got to this 500 mark. They've tried it 2 or 3 times. They finally get it. I actually think this team's going to finish over 500 for the season, which will be a major accomplishment, and they're still fighting for that 6th seed. 6th, 7th. We see that Indiana's fell to 2, which may help the Bobcats if they stay in 7, or they can get up to 6. They still got another meeting with the Wizards. So all positives for the the Bobcats right now. I'd like to see them go out on the road, Coach, and handle business tomorrow if they want to be a playoff team. Get that win on the road and move closer to clinching that playoff berth.
I'm going to make it short and simple. The playoff run is lots of fun. We had fun tonight. We'll be back to do it again next week. And hopefully by the time we come here, you'll have to wear your bow tie, which you promised when they clinch playoff spot. Remember that there? But they are just a couple of games away from clinching, though. But, again, a lot of fun tonight. Coach Toney, glad to get you to a game up here, though.
I really enjoyed it, Coach. I appreciate having the invite.
You're rhyming your final thoughts. He's got the 7 W's. I can't top that.
Yeah.
We got to get off the
You
air
got
here.
jet lag.
Yeah, I do.
So, we're wrapping things up for Dustin Phifer, Barry Toney. I'm the coach, Dick Cox. Again, Bobcats win tonight by the final score 91-80. We'll see you next week when the 76ers come to town. Goodbye, everybody.
Good evening.